Hello viewers, this is Mithul here. In this module, we are going to cover up the character strings data type. So 3.4. Let us just move on to it. 3.4, it will have the char, varchar and the text data types. So what does it do and why do we use it? Let us just see to it. So in the character strings, there are three types of data types. The first one is the char of n, which will specify and means like the fixed size string that we will be doing, like the and defines the string size in the bytes. The byte size will range. Its range start with 1 and goes up to 8,000 characters into that. Okay, so in the character, which will be the fixed size string, and then it defines the string size in the bytes. Okay, now let us just take two characters into the variable, the data type char, and then in the bracket we are defining 2 as a size to it. So meaning there are 2 bytes it is going to store within that, and what it will do is that will be the fixed length. Fixed length means like 2 length is given, then only 2 characters will be occupied in the memory. It may not go less, it may not go beyond. Okay, so what we will do, we will just try to assign one value to it, meaning like we are just assigning a single character. Even though we have given it 2 characters, we are assigning only one deliberately, just to see like how much length it is occupying in the memory. So let us just run to it. Okay, now here as we see, the variable is given the character 2 size, but it is storing one character within that. We just utilized only one character, but still it is occupying 2 byte size, meaning 1 byte is unused and still it is occupying in the memory, so which is a waste of memory. So it should be used very wisely whenever you need this char data type, means when you are very certain that yeah, this is going to be used for that many characters, then only you define a variable or define a column with this type, when you are very certain, so that it will not consume extra memory for that column in the table. Okay, so just be cautious on that. Then the second type of data type is varchar, means variable characters, means variable size string data. Now what is the n is again the same, defines the same string size in the bytes, and starts range and end range will be same. Varchar and char both has the same range, only just the difference is variable size, whereas here it is fixed size. Fixed size will use only the defined characters only, whereas variable size means it will occupy only the characters which we are assigned to it, and rest of the memory will be released or made free. That will be made free after the assignment is complete, so that even though we have defined 2 characters for this variable, it may not hold 2 characters or 2 byte size in the memory. Instead it will occupy only 1 byte in the memory, because we assigned only one character to it, so it will save your memory. So this is very good type of data type that we can use most part, like in the when you aren't certain how much space my string is going to occupy in the a particular column or a variable. So we should always go ahead with this data type varchar. Okay, now here again we are assigning the y as a single character to it, and then we can assign any characters to it. I'm just giving it for an example, like just the basic example I'm giving it one. So we are just displaying the size to that. Now you may see, even having the 2 size defined, it will show us the size as 1, because we assigned one character to it, right? So see the difference between these 2 data type, what is the advantage over this. So this is like for particular type of characters we will use this, where we are max as a declaration. Okay, varchar text length is like integer variable declaration. Now what we do into these two variable is we are casting them in the varchar format. So text, the text content itself, it is like a large size string, or the very wide string. So whenever we are fetching into any other data type variables, definitely there will be a truncation that may happen, or we may have to fetch a substring, or we may have to fetch a small part of that entire text, right? We may not find that entire text, or definitely we can use it, but we may not use it in the one go. We may not use somewhere, somehow we may need like the partial text, or we may need some like a one line of text we may need, or maybe two line of the text from that entire text we may need, right? Like an address column. So that is how it may be used. So to do that, we need to do the typecast to that. Okay, so for that reason we have defined the maximum length of the varchar is what we have given to it, so that whatever there may be the length of the text, we will try to fetch as much as characters, as many as characters that we can. So it will fetch into this variable, and then store into this, assign it to this variable. Likewise, we are trying with, so we are just trying to fetch like how many character, what is the actual length of that, right? So we are just checking the length of the string of this content. Okay, so varchar max is what we have defined, but still how much occupies, how much space it occupies with this string, that is what will be calculated using this length function. Okay, it's like a system function, SQL Server function. So we will run this query, and then we'll see like how it does, and then the last we will see the byte size. Okay, so let us just run the entire SQL. Yeah, so as you see, it has connected to use, means what? It is connecting to the existing database. When you have a database created in your SSMS connected to your SQL Server, there should be a database, then only you can use this statement. So use and then database name, then you write the drop statement, so that if there is any temporary table with the same name exists, then remove it, and then we are creating the table, the same table we are creating, so that it may not conflict with it, right? Supposingly, if we did not write this statement and we directly rerun the same SQL statement again, it may throw the error. It may say that this table is not existing. Why do you want to drop? Or if it is dropped, then why, if it is available, then why are you creating it? Okay, both the ways. If it is existing, it may ask us like it is already present, why do you recreate it? So it may not overwrite it, right? So we may need to drop it, and then we may have to create it. Then we do the insert to that table, and then rest of the things. So here, interesting thing to check is like the entire string is fetched according to the characters that we have assigned to it, like up to this important concept of SQL, like the last character, right? So it has fetched almost each and every character of the string that we have assigned to this column. And what is the length to this character? So that is given by this length function. What it has done is, content will give you the byte size exactly, but we have not occupied that many characters of the text field. The field may be defined is of like 8,000 character, but we have not stored the content of that much size. We have stored the content of 201 characters only. So it should ideally store, or it should ideally give us the length, means 201 characters. So that much is the length we have calculated over here using this built-in function length, and that is what it is returning here. Okay, and now this is like the byte size. The same characters, the length of the character and the number of bytes, which are both are same. Okay, as per our definition what we just described. Okay, each and every byte will represent the size of the byte. Okay, each and every character. All right. So yeah, that's it for this, and happy learning. We'll reconnect again in the next session. Thank you. Very like the code, suppose say, right, like the codes 0 1 or 2 or something, like the defined codes, if we have to declare, then in that case you may use these, or when you aren't certain, like an address or something, like phone numbers or something, along with the address line 1 2 3 or something like that we want to save, then we may use this kind of data type. And then the next type of data type is text, which is again variable length, but it is like a non-unicode data in the code page of the server, and with a maximum string length of 2147483,647. This many characters it can store within this field or the type or the column. So max byte size it may occupy in the memory is the same number of characters what we just saw see as a length to it. Now, to give you as an example, ideally what happens is like the text cannot be assigned in the designer time or the design time, or even in the SSMS we may not be able to assign it to the variable. So for that reason we may have to store it somewhere into the table, and then we may have to consume, or we have to produce that as an output or input kind of thing, so that we can just check like how that text data type can be used. It cannot be used like a local variable that you declare and assign a value to it, right? Because it's a like a lengthy string. Okay, so it's a, like a lengthy string. Apart from that, it has like the carriage return, like the new line characters, and all of this will be there, right? So it may not be feasible, or sometimes it may not be easy to display it. For that reason, it is not recommended, or it's not working out in the designer in SSMS, right? So for that reason, what we may have to do is we may have to temporarily create. I have the database created just for this purpose only. What I'm just checking here is like if the table is already existing, this is like a temporary table, means like after the usage we will be just dropping, or it will be dropped, or it can be dropped. Basically it will occupy the space within your tempdb database, which is not the main primary database, but still it will be like a temporary space occupied in the memory. Now there is a table that we create, like the temp table what we create, right? The id is the column that we define, integer is the data type, identity 1 comma 1 is just we say when we want to just create an identity seed, like one like the incremental column, like the sequence column, if we want to create, right, in the database table, then we use this the increment by 1, right? Start with 1 and then increment with 1, like that. 1 comma 1 means, then the author is another column where care data type and the size. Likewise title, and then content is what we have defined as a text. Now you see that we are inserting a record into, see, first we have to create the table, then we do the insert to that table, this like a syntax for the insert into that table, and then we are passing in the values respectively for each of this column. Identity will automatically see, for that reason we are not using it in here. We don't need to assign any value to it, it will automatically be used for that purpose. Okay, so now we will see, like we see that like the value for the author, and then the title, and then the content. Now you may see like the content, which is I have like manually typed some text within this. Okay, you see that wide text we have written to it, and then we are storing it into a table, then we will store and display that. Now we, to display that also, I have used declared two variables for that purpose. One variable I have declared is with varchar max. Varchar max is the maximum length of the varchar data type. Now what is the maximum length, if you recollect correctly, can you tell? It is 8000 characters. Okay, So for varchar, the length, the maximum length for that one is 8000. So uh, just for the ease of writing, we may use, instead of 8000, we may use this varchar.